Hello and welcome. My name is Bashir Fadl, and on behalf of LearnITCoursesOnline.com, as well as LearnJobsOnline.com, I'd like to thank you. We do know that you have a variety of choices of IT training, and you've chosen us, so we really appreciate that and hope that you enjoy it. Thank you.
Backlog grooming. So what is backlog grooming? Backlog grooming is regular session where backlog items are discussed, reviewed, and prioritized by product managers, product owners, and the rest of the involved team. The primary goal of backlog grooming is to keep the backlog up to date and ensure that backlog items are prepared for upcoming sprints. Additionally, the process helps product managers explain and align the organization behind the strategy that informs the backlog items. Backlog grooming, referred to as backlog management, also backlog refinement, pre-planning, or story time, is a widely adopted activity by Scrum and Agile product teams especially. The most common tactical activities that occur during backlog management include removing outdated user stories and tasks, adding new user stories that reflect newly discovered user insights, breaking down broad user stories into smaller items, reordering user stories based on their priority, explaining and clearly defining user stories and tasks to avoid uncertainty and black box communication, assigning or reassigning story points and estimates, identifying roadblocks, and minimizing risks related to backlog items. Benefits of backlog grooming. When done effectively, recurring backlog grooming sessions can keep our backlog in check and improve the organization of the items listed in it. There are several important reasons to adopt backlog grooming. Number one, it keeps the backlog clean because depending on how big our organization is and our company structure, our backlog can receive input from several different teams and departments. Left unattended, this could lead to a messy backlog with a lack of cohesive qualities across backlog items and an overwhelming number of outdated items. Conversely, a groomed backlog is always in a manageable state. This makes it easier for the whole team to navigate through the backlog items and contribute more efficiently. Number two, keeps the backlog relevant. The purpose of backlog refinement is to ensure that the backlog is populated with initiatives that are relevant, well documented, and prioritized in accordance with the needs of the customer and organization. Nothing gets built unless it's on the backlog. But listing an item on the backlog doesn't guarantee that it will be executed. So the backlog refinement process ensures that only the most relevant tasks get committed for delivery in the following sprint. Number three, keeps the whole product team up to date. An unorganized backlog with poorly formulated backlog items can lead to ambiguity and miscommunication across teams, as well as bad product decisions. In contrast, a refined backlog supports effective team conversations and allows everyone to be on the same page when it comes to new features, bugs, user insights, or other product related initiatives. Number four, it increases work velocity. A grooming or a groomed backlog helps our product team deliver features more rapidly and keeps the organization moving forward. It reduces the time product managers and product owners spend planning sprints and increase the productivity of everyone involved in building the product. So who owns the backlog grooming process? Depending on the structure of your organization and whether you employ Scrum and Agile methodologies, the backlog grooming process could be performed in the form of regular, recurring meetings. Usually the product manager or the product owner is in charge of leading backlog grooming sessions and ensuring that they are carried out smoothly. Since backlog grooming is not an official ceremony according to the Agile method, it is not uncommon to also see project managers, scrum masters, or other team members facilitating those sessions. Who should attend backlog grooming sessions? It's important that we encourage every department across our organization to participate in backlog grooming sessions. Yet, we don't want to invite too many collaborators, as the sessions could easily become overwhelming and ineffective when too many ideas and viewpoints are presented. The backlog refinement ceremony must be attended by team members with the highest involvement in the product building process. So we're looking for the individual who leads the meeting, usually product manager, product owner, product managers or other representatives of the product team, lead engineers, and it's also beneficial to invite members from customer success, support, and QA, as they have valuable user insights related to the inputs in the backlog. Backlog grooming best practices. Remember to make your product backlog deep. Roman Pichler, the author of Agile Product Management with Scrum, used the acronym DEEP to sum up the essential traits of a good product backlog. Detailed appropriately, letter D. So user stories and other items in the product backlog that will be done soon need to be sufficiently well understood by cross-functional teams. Items and initiatives that will not be delivered for a while should be described with less detail. Summarized as detailed appropriately, the letter D. Now for the first E, estimated. Backlog items at the top should include an accurate estimation of the work needed to deliver them. Conversely, items down the backlog should only be roughly estimated as they're not that well understood yet. So that's the first E, estimated. The second E is emergent. A product backlog change over time. As we capture new user insights, the backlog will be changed to adapt to user needs. And that's the second E, emergent. The third one, or the fourth one, is prioritized, the letter P. The product backlog should be ordered with the most valuable items at the top and the least valuable at the bottom. Every single item is ranked in relation to its business value and alignment with the strategic goal of the company. Prioritized. We need to remember to always define the shared qualities across all backlog items. A clear set of qualities for our backlog items include, number one, description. What's the main objective of the product backlog item? Number two, value. What's the business value of the item as determined by the person who runs the backlog grooming process? Number three, order. What is the asset priority level of the item? Number four, estimate. What's the estimated effort required to complete the item as defined by the product delivery team? So remember, it may take some experimentation before we determine the best set of backlog item qualities to track, and we don't necessarily need to use the ones defined by those guidelines. But with a product management platform like a product board, we can always define our own set of custom attributes and criteria to score and prioritize them. Categorize backlog items for better organization. Some of the items and initiatives that could be listed in a product backlog include user stories, feature specifications, feature requests, bugs, user insights, and feedback. A common mistake in a backlog grooming is adding all of these inputs into a single backlog list without any categorization. It's critical that we split our development backlog from our product backlog and our insights backlog, and to make sure that each item is labeled correctly. This will not only keep our backlog less cluttered, but also speed up our backlog grooming sessions. Seems intuitive, but remember to always come prepared to backlog grooming sessions. There are a few key things that everyone should revisit before a backlog grooming meeting. We need to understand the value of the features that we're going to advocate for. How do they align with the product roadmap and the long-term strategy of the company? Consider your stakeholders. How does the feature align with the priorities of the stakeholders? Make sure to engage with the stakeholders on a regular basis and keep their interests in mind. Also, consider your customers. Does the strategic direction of the items in the backlog align with our customers' personas? It's worth revisiting our customer personas before the backlog grooming sessions.
With this, we come to the end of this session, and we'd like to thank you for joining us. And also, don't hesitate to visit our website at learnitcoursesonline.com to leave your feedback and reviews. And also look at our events. We have a lot of free sessions, and we'd be more than happy to have you join at any given time, and also sign up with us for our newsletter. Thank you and have a wonderful time.